Yep, I am hitting the tennis court today. First, I'm going to start off by doing some warm-ups. Kind of get the blood flowing. Get into the mood. Just starting off here with some power sprints and then to end it with some power slides. Once I get that nailed down, I practice a couple other things such as jumping, followed by a parallel power slide. Since I switched to my Reeboks for this session, I have to get to know my edges. The Reeboks that I am wearing right now are currently not a high-low setup like the Bowers would be. These Reeboks are 80 millimeters all the way across. So it is quite a different feel from the Bowers that I usually use. It doesn't necessarily put you in that forward stance. But I would assume I might get a little more speed since they are larger wheels all the way across. Today I'm going to be practicing with a tennis racket and some tennis balls. Something a little different. I've decided to do this considering that I have bought these tennis rackets 4 years ago and I have not used them since the day that I bought them. So I am breaking them out for the first time. I came up with this idea of a mixture of tennis and inline skating, just thinking about something that would possibly improve my performance of balance and foot placement. And to my surprise, this actually worked very well. It helped my response time in trying to get from one point to another. It helped me to learn how to stop quicker without actually looking at my skates. And it helped me to be more confident rolling across cracks. There are some cracks in this tennis court. I pretty much knew where they were all at, so I was okay. So far, this is the best strategy I have came up with. Plus, the ball comes right back to you. Earlier I was having volume problems on my camera, and that actually fixed the volume, believe it or not. So in the beginning of this game of tennis, I was a bit rusty at first, but I began to get better. There's a couple cool combos that I have figured out. I never played tennis before, so I can actually honestly say that I have learned how to play tennis on inline skates. To my surprise, I was actually quite good at it. In this game of tennis, I have actually found a good use for skating backwards in order to get the ball. Something I thought I would never have to use. I just love the sound my skates make whenever they rip the pavement. While playing this little game with myself, I was using a little application called Fit App. Here's what it looks like right here. This is the application that I use for inline skating, and this is what it looks like after 2 hours of skating inside a tennis court. In the process of skating, I skated about 2 miles, which is a lot considering that you're stopping and going. Here's me after I started to get a little bit better. I started this skate at about 2:30 p.m. That way I can have the tennis court to myself before anybody gets out of school or anybody gets off work. The park was relatively dead when I got there, so there wasn't too many people. It wasn't until after about 3:30 that I started to see people show up. The weather was really nice, about 76 degrees, and there was moderate clouding, so I wasn't directly in the sunlight most of the time. Now that the summer days are gone, I don't sweat as much. The humidity is always there though. But of course you need a combination of both in order to sweat. And to think that I just gave my knee pads away. I need to go buy me some more protection. I noticed when I was playing this game, I was more prone to falling. Simply because you're having to change your direction of where you're skating within a split second. 1 second you are going in one direction and then you see the ball bounce off the wall, and depending on how fast you hit it and what angle you hit it, depends on where you're going to go. Sometimes it can be quite tricky and unpredictable. I guess that's the reason why I like this game. It can be quite unpredictable. You need to prepare yourself in those split-second decisions in real life whenever you go out skating on the road. Don't worry, that's not the only time I hit my camera. The problem in this game was not necessarily catching up with the ball, but it was stopping once you got to it. If you didn't know how to stop, you're just going to roll past it. If you think you're good at power slides, try playing this game. Then you'll see how good you really are. All it takes is one person and one wall. You don't even need two people to play. The application Fit app told me that I burned at least 315 calories today. So what's your favorite thing to do while inline skating? Perhaps could tennis be one of them? Or maybe you might come up with something else. I'd like to hear your ideas. Perhaps maybe something that improves your performance. Something that helps you to get more exercise than usual. If you suggest something in the comments below, I might even use one of those suggestions in one of my next upcoming videos. Most of the videos that I do require me to have bursts of energy. So that's pretty much my skating strategy. When I go on long skates through the city, through the neighborhood, or through the parks, I take off as quick as I can, as long as I can, and then whenever I get tired, I slow down until I can take off again. Well, that's what this game really involves. It involves bursts of energy, but not so much long bursts of energy. This game involves more short bursts of energy, because you're trying to get to a certain position as quick as you can so you can hit the ball without falling, which requires you to stop. So that's the next challenge. Depending on how comfortable you are in your skates, depends on how you're going to perform. I didn't realize this until I tried on these Reeboks. Now I see how comfortable I really am in these skates. I also tried my Bowers, and I also performed pretty good, but so far I'm getting a better performance out of the Reeboks than I am the Bowers. This does not necessarily mean that the Reeboks are any better than the Bowers. That just means that they're different for this style of skating. So far, the Bowers are still my favorite pair of skates. And I would probably say that these Reeboks might be my second favorite pair. As much as I wanted to use a hockey puck and a hockey goal and go to a hockey rink, I didn't have one. So this was the next best thing. And also, since the ball returns to you, you can keep the game going with just one ball, unless you hit it over. I brought with me about 13 balls. I have them lined up to the side. It takes me anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes to lose them all. And then I have to go back and regroup them again. In about a 2-hour period, I probably do this about 3 or 4 times. But it's pretty much worth it, as long as you don't hit them over every time. I've noticed that with each hit that I hit, I started to hit with confidence. Before, I was kind of just hitting it so I can at least bounce it off the board even if it came back to me slowly. But now, I'm actually going back further, hitting it harder, and I am getting from point A to point B with confidence and stopping quick. Since I do the drag stop on my left foot more often than my right, I am having to flip all the wheels on my left skate only. The right skate was still pretty good. Now, considering right before this skate, I rotated all of my wheels, and now I'm having to flip them already. This just goes to show you how rough this game really is. These wheels are not necessarily any softer than any other wheels. They are made for the concrete. And this concrete is not even rough. It's smooth. Right now, the camera that I currently am using is the GoPro Hero 4 Silver Edition. I chose the Silver Edition simply because it has a touchscreen on the back. And it's $100 cheaper. I used to use a Galaxy S5 for my videos. I no longer use that. But as far as the editing software, I use Power Director. And they do update it. So I edit all my videos on my phone, which is currently the Galaxy S7. Does a pretty good job. I don't even think they saw me fall. At least I hope they didn't. So like I said, I like to use my phone to edit all my videos simply because I can bring it wherever I go. It's usually more simplified than a computer, and you don't have to start from scratch. I don't know how many times I'm gonna knock the camera off of its stand today. I done lost count. There I go again. It seems to be my target at this point. I guess once I have my eyes fixated on the camera, I just feel like hitting it. Pretty good target practice. An expensive target. I'll try not to do it again. Now that daylight hours are shorter, I have not as much time to film my videos, which means I have to get out earlier to film them. The weather's still pretty good over here. I don't know how the weather is in the north, in northern United States and Canada. I heard it's snowing over there. Never snows here in Houston. I sure wish it would. Then I would do a snow skate. Yep. It's probably only snowed in Houston about 3 times in my life when I was growing up, to where the snow actually stuck to the ground about an inch or two, but that's about it. I think one of those times it was 6 inches of snow. We've had ice storms, maybe like 4 of those in my lifetime, but doesn't happen too often either. All we have is humid climates. During the winter it's still 79, 80 degrees sometimes, and during the summer it can reach 105 or more with the humidity. So sometimes when it does get colder over here, it feels extremely cold because of that humidity. It's not often that we have really nice weather like today, around 76 degrees, and it's kind of dry. If the wind comes from the north, then we have drier weather, but if the wind comes from the south, and more than likely that's where it's coming from most of the time, we have more humidity. I think I found my new favorite hobby: tennis and skating. It's one of the things that really gets me up and going and moving, and it helps me practice a little harder. It's actually more of an exercise than my usual skating routine, so it's something I am going to begin to like. So probably I'm going to be doing this type of skating more often, and hopefully you like it too. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned, and I will see you next time.